Do the glasses make it worse or better? I can't tell. This is not how I wanted to start this video. I had ideas that I was going to create this wonderfully, beautifully aesthetic vlog since I've been gone for so long, and that you guys were going to watch me talk about how I've been killing it with the revisions department. I'm on draft 5 now, and that is just not the case. I mean, it's me, come on, like what was I thinking? So I thought I would just jump into it and stop waiting for that special someday when I was ready to film that. For those of you who might be watching me for the first time, yikes. Hello, how are you? My name is Haley. I try to be a writer. That's like my bio. I do other things too, but for the purposes of this channel, that is what I do. And it is officially NaNoWriMo. And before I jump into why I decided to finally pick up this camera, I thought I would address all of the changes that have happened. So much has changed since I last stopped filming. Last filmed. Even though my last video probably didn't go up that long ago because I have a terrible editing motivation and I take forever to edit videos, or at least I did over the summer. It's been a really long time. I think I last stopped filming in July and it's now November. So first things first, we moved. We are now in a new place. I am in my own personal office, and I will definitely be doing an office tour to show you guys because I could not be more excited about having an office. Second of all, we got a cat, another cat. We got a kitten. He's amazing. He is a monster. He's a terror, but we love him so much. And him and Kimmy are getting along really well. Kimmy is my other cat, and I will, I'm sure, insert clips I have taken of them over the last, oh my goodness, 2 months now. It's been 2 months that we've had him, wow. And third, and most hopefully, we have a new president. Well, a new president picked. Won't have a new president until January, but that's the way it's looking. And I've been so nervous to start filming NaNoWriMo because last time I filmed during a presidential election, it went terribly and I was getting all these flashbacks on election day. That's not the real reason, that's just an excuse I told myself of why I didn't want to get into NaNoWriMo yet. But essentially, the biggest thing that is upcoming, obviously NaNoWriMo is huge, but midway NaNoWriMo, November 13th, I have my first deadline. So I am in a program, a master's writing program, and I'm working on my thesis, and my thesis is my book. Ta-da! Which is extremely daunting, and some days I can't believe I did this to myself, but then I think of an alternative thesis of like writing like a 150-page essay argument style thing, and I want to die, and so I'm much more prefer having just a finished book. And so November 13th is my first deadline where I should be submitting half-ish of said book, whatever half means, because as these vlogs shall show, I don't have a completely great outline anymore. The one I have is kind of useless. And so yeah, you could say I'm taking NaNoWriMo pretty seriously this year and have every full intent to finish it, or else I don't graduate, essentially. I mean, then my finished book is due more roughly around mid-December, and then we start jumping into revisions for the rest of the year and finishing up in April when it is due. Nothing like a deadline to actually get you to write. Am I right? I know I'm right. This is the way I operate. Now here's where my former viewers are going to not be surprised. And I only say that because they're usually during NaNoWriMo I get more subscribers, so I'm assuming maybe some of you guys are new to my channel. But I haven't started writing. I mean, I have, but I stopped writing in October. I haven't written yet for NaNoWriMo. I've mostly been doing a lot of this, which is good, but also bad. And so the reason I picked up this camera is because I need to get out of my head a little bit and get more into my head with writing. I realized that I started this new ideas for chapter 1 so strong. I think I actually filmed a clip on my phone of it, which I will insert later maybe, where I did think more about chapter 1. And I got really excited about the new direction my book was heading in, and And then I took a couple days off writing, and I started to do the thing I always do where I questioned if I really liked it. It was a terrible feeling, and it made me realize sometimes I wonder if me questioning it is a sign that it's bad, or is it just me being in my head about it and it's actually not as bad as I think it is. And then it just got me thinking, like, do I stress about my writing, which then makes the writing not as good, or is the writing not as good and that's why I'm stressing? I just can't tell what is coming first, the bad writing or the stress. A little bit of a chicken egg situation going on here. But I have to ignore all of that because, like I said, I have a deadline. And the reason I'm a little stressed about it is because my direction I'm taking the story isn't just about where I'm starting my chapter, but really about the heart and feel of the tone of the story. And that is scary to change, because that is a bigger deal and problem to fix down the line if I don't like it. But I guess that's what my feedback is for. I started to listen to and read a lot of Goodreads book reviews, not even about my books, but I'm worried. I'm like, what if these people would say the same thing about my book? Like, what if the tone is too childish, or what if the pacing is too slow? What if I'm starting it too early? Because that's one big, huge change I decided to do, is I'm starting the book way earlier in the story than it was originally. Originally I was jumping right in, and now I've decided to take a few steps back. Not that it's like not important what happens, but just to get to know the characters better, because I was having problems feeling like people would care what happened to the characters because they didn't even know the characters. And this is young adult fiction, by the way. I'm writing young adult. And so it's very important, especially in young adult, to really connect with the characters. Anyway, I can ramble on and on. I feel like I have a lot to say, and I can't even remember the clips I filmed on my phone. I have been filming random clips here and there when I have something to say, but I just wanted to say hi. And I've missed talking to the camera. I've missed having that give and take. I think one of the reasons I didn't want to film the last couple months is because I've really been trying to lock down a very real writing routine, like a real one, and not just talking about struggling constantly, because I feel like that's all I ever do. Relatable. I mean, obviously it's relatable to me because I'm the one saying it and it's my life, but whatever. And so I wanted to come on here with actual progress. That's something that I've been really focusing on for the remainder of 2020, is to stop feeling like I'm only staying afloat and instead feel like I'm thriving and swimming. And I feel like I'm gonna have, I hate making empty promises, so I hesitate to say this, but I really want to, and have started filming another video about that and how I am trying to tackle becoming a disciplined person as an adult, because it is very difficult to never be disciplined and suddenly trying to change that about myself at 28 years old. And I've been doing some things, and some things have been working, some things haven't, but I'm very optimistic and hopeful because I do want this to be a career and I want to be successful at it, and I don't want to just have so much all or nothing about my writing life. I want it to be consistent as a day job, and I have to get into that habit. So final thing, so this will just be a quick little video. A NaNoWriMo introduction video, but one of the things that I have done for the first time this year, technically not the first time because last time I took time off, but it's because I was actually going on vacation, but I've taken off a whole week in November to just write. I am so excited about that. I was inspired to do this based on my summer writing retreat. That was the last video series that just went up, so feel free to check those out if you haven't watched them yet. And having that whole week to just focus on writing was amazing. And I was like, you know what, I want to do that again. And I've been accruing vacation time through work with absolutely no way to actually take a vacation because we're all in lockdown. So I'm like, I can afford to do this. I'm very excited. I'm very happy that I have the privilege to do that, to take a whole week off. And coincidentally, not coincidentally, it also lines up right before my deadline, which is on Friday. I picked Friday the 13th because I don't know. I didn't want to pick a weekend day because I knew, or I was afraid I was going to just count on the fact that I had a weekend coming up and then just be stressed that whole weekend. I know it doesn't make sense, but basically I wanted to take that weekend to relax without the fact that I just finished writing half a book and not in like have some relaxed time before I have to start work again the following Monday. Anyway, that is my update. I hope you guys are doing so well. I kept it under 15 minutes. Are you so proud of me? I'm gonna ramble right now. It's gonna go over. No, I can do this. I can stay under 15. If you are like me and are a slow NaNoWriMo starter, we'll get better at this. But I promise you it's gonna be a really interesting month. And as part of my commitment to the remainder of 2020 and for life, I am actually going to very seriously upload much more regularly. I don't want to commit to a certain schedule, but I'm not gonna hold on to this video for a few months. I'm gonna edit it. Okay, I want to go before 50 minutes. See you guys soon. I just figured out a major plot hole and motivation issue that I've been working through since I started really the first draft. I feel like I haven't been able to move forward until I figured out this huge issue, and I think I finally have it. Oh my god. One of my characters who I love just got a lot darker because of it, but she got motivation now. He heard me talking. Hi Charlie, go back to sleep. I've been outlining for probably an hour now, just like taking a step back, really figuring this freaking thing out. And it was so helpful, and I'm so excited. And I just want to keep working, but it's almost 2 a.m. I didn't plan on working this long, but I just got in the groove. Oh my god. I can't believe I figured it out. Ow! Charlie, don't dig. This not nice. You go sleep, baby. Go sleep. No, baby. You don't do that. No, no, no. Go to sleep. And I would apologize for my messy office, but I'm still unpacking, even though it's October. Yeah, I gotta finish unpacking my office. Okay, I just wanted to share. I'm so excited. October 8th, 1:40 a.m. I figured it out. It was like 1:35 when I figured it out. Almost exactly a little over 3 years. Ugh, is that true? Since I finished my first draft. Yikes. That's not a fun fact. I just had to add, I don't know if you guys have also, hold on, I'm gonna shut my door. Or actually, I'm gonna go downstairs. We're now in my bathroom like a weirdo. But I don't know if you guys have ever, oh, you can tell I've been stress thinking, experienced this how I experience it, but when I'm like trying to work through an issue with my story, I like oftentimes will come up with a solution that's kind of like okay, and Zach, my husband, can completely attest to when I'm feeling this way because I'll be brainstorming with him and trying to work through it, and he'll like offer a suggestion, or like I'll say a suggestion and he'll be like, yeah, that seems okay, and I'm like, yeah, I guess. And that's how I feel when it's like something, when I'm writing my story, sometimes things just come to me, like when I first get that idea or a certain character, and it's like right away it's locked in, and you know that gut feeling when something locks in and you're like, yup, that's how it's gonna happen. And you can just like see in your mind, like that's a final draft idea, like that's the way the story happens, that's fact. But then it's like when you're trying to work through something that's you're struggling to power through, and you kind of feel like you come up with an okay solution that could work, but it doesn't have that quite same like jolt of, yes, this is the solution, this is what I want to do, that is perfect. And it's like, if I don't have that perfect feeling for something, it will eat at me. And that is what happened with this issue. Basically, one of my characters, like a big character, needed to be motivated to find the lost crystal skull. And in my book's about the legend of the crystal skulls. If anyone's joining me for the first time, hello, welcome. What a strange video you've found. and she needed a reason for searching for it, and I had like a bunch of different reasons and like why it was so important she finds it, like what her motivation was, and it was all just kind of like okay reasons. But it's like, you know, if you're a person, you dedicate your life to something, like it's all you consume, it's all you do, there better be a darn good reason for it. And I just felt like it just wasn't good enough. It just was never strong enough. It made her feel two-dimensional to just be like, oh, I just want to find it. Like, no, there had to be a reason. And I finally figured it out. And so now it's just like, oh, that feeling when you finally figure it out is so exciting. And now I'm like looking at all the other things I've had to figure out, character motivations, and they all just, some of them, not they all, a lot of them though, still seem kind of weak. And I'm like thinking, that is what I need to do this month. Like, I need to figure out all of these characters' strong, real motivations. And it's like, if I can just figure that out, if I can figure out everybody's why, the rest of the story I think will start to fall into place. It's kind of like with acting. I've taken a few acting classes throughout my educational years just for fun, just because I love acting. Oh, my battery's dying, so I have to go quick. And the biggest thing he would tell, one of my instructors told us, is to just always remember your motivation and let the scene unfold if you forget your line. Like, just remember your motivation, that will power you through. And it's like, that is so true with writing too. Like, I feel like I don't need to know exactly the outline for every action. I just need to remember that motivation. Quick update. So I'm currently writing my thesis. So rewriting my book in total, due the end of November. And I realized today something that is so important, but so freaking obvious, but something I haven't thought about. Oh my God, it's so long. Embarrassingly long. I think it kind of comes with the fact that I've been in school for writing for so long, and so I've gotten so used to writing things that I don't necessarily care to write, like, you know, having to do writing prompts that I'm not totally into, or having to do short stories with like certain characteristics that I might not choose. But anyway, I've gotten used to just like writing what I feel makes a good story and what I feel advances the story in a good way, and very literary style writing, and not writing something that I actually think is fun to write, which I think is really important. I recently read this article of this person who went from 2K to 10K a day. I will link it below because it was so helpful. And one of the top components that she mentioned is that you have to feel inspired's not the right word, but basically you have to be excited about what you're writing. And she says if a certain scene doesn't excite her, she throws that scene out, or she figures out a way to rework it so that it does excite her, because if she's not having fun writing it, it's not going to be fun to read. And while I don't necessarily think that's a blanket statement, because I think there are really tough scenes to write that are exciting to read, I don't think they necessarily always go hand in hand. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, what's the point? Like, I do this because I want to and because it's fun and exciting, and here I am trying to write a book I'm not having fun writing. And it's not because there's anything inherently wrong with it, but it's because I'm so worried about the literary components of it and making sure that it's hitting all of the right stuff that I'm forgetting to write scenes that I think would actually be really fun to write. It's such an obvious like thing, but I don't know. I started working on the new opening scene that's just really playful and fun, and the characters feel so much more authentic, and I'm having so much more fun. And it's like, I'm gonna do this for the whole book. I'm gonna stop worrying about, you know, act 1, act 2, act 3, whatever. Like, I have the components of the story I want to include. Obviously, I will include them, but as far as specific scenes go, I'm just gonna write what I think is fun to write and not worry about all the other stuff. I'm just gonna do that and see what happens, because I didn't even do that with the first draft. The first draft, I outlined it, but half the scenes I didn't really enjoy writing. I just did it because that was what was in my outline, and that's what I thought made sense. But I'm gonna change that. Let me see what happens. Okay, I'm going to confess this to you as long as you promise not to laugh. Let me put on headphones so I'm not whispering. This should be clear because I have a microphone on now. I'm going to confess something to you. If you promise not to laugh or unsubscribe, you can unsubscribe. I would understand. I'm rewriting my first chapter. I'm insane, I've lost my mind. However, I have to disagree because I had the biggest breakthrough today. Like, I've never felt this way. I haven't felt this way about this project in so long. So it kind of goes on what I was saying before I went on my walk when I recorded that quick video. On the entire walk, I was brainstorming what I would really enjoy and what I want to open. I mean, not even what I want the story to open with, but I realized I was starting too soon. And I was jumping into my story as if it was a movie and it needed action right away. It needed that mystery of like, what is going on? And like, why not just start with our characters living their normal life? And I tried to do that in the rewrite, but it still was too soon. We were missing so many important moments. I mean, one of the catalysts for my whole story is them talking to their grandfather about something that happened in his past, and I had it as like a vague flashback instead of like, why not start there or start just slightly before there? And I think I got it so stuck in my head, this idea that someone in my writing class worded it where it was like, a movie doesn't show someone entering a room, you're just already cut to being in the room, the conversation's already starting. I'm totally messing that up. I'm forgetting the analogy. And that's for TV and movies. This is a book. And I think that trick is so fun and can be really important, especially with suspense writing, but this is a fantasy book and a young adult book. And I just realized a huge common denominator in the 3 books I did a study on were that, and it was something I noted because I just thought it was so funny that they all 3 did it, where we start as a reader is usually the start of the character's day, or like, you know, like the start of something that's happening. But then it always ends with the end of our character's day. Like, only one day has taken place. And so to me, it's like almost a promise to the reader of, you know, come along with me. We're going to go on this journey together, especially in contemporary fantasy. These are all contemporary fantasy books. And it's like, why not I do that? Like, why am I jumping scenes that are in different days in the first chapter? I mean, I didn't really do that in chapter 1, but it was like, it was still just not close enough. And then on my walk, oh my God, I took so many notes. And it just, I'm so excited because it's just so fun. And it's gonna be, and like, the crazy part is, on like bullet note wise, it's probably not as fun because it's like not as like exciting with action, and I don't know, but it's like we get to really know the characters, and they're not just caricatures, but they're like people. Anyway, I just had to share, I just spent way too much time looking up houses in the area to like pick a house for them. And now it's 1 o'clock and I didn't mean to do that. Oh my God, I got carried away. I also on this walk realized another important thing. I've been trying to avoid writing too much of what I know, as far as like, originally it was a vague town in Maine. I didn't even name what town it was in, and now I've narrowed it down to an actual town that's near where I grew up. And I was like, is that weird? I don't know, should I slightly change the name? But you know what, I'm just gonna run with it. And it's gonna be real towns, real streets. Maybe I'll change that slightly, I don't know, but I'm not gonna worry about it right now. But you know, it's my first book. I'm gonna use everything I got. It's gonna be all stuff I know, mostly. But I'm just sitting here, and I think really just what I wanted to share was that when I would read, and I've talked about this before, so apologies to my frequent watchers. When I would read that story of Twilight that Stephanie Meyer wrote, it was so clear how obsessed she was with writing Twilight, and she like couldn't keep herself from writing it. It was like spilling out of her, and she had to keep a notebook by her bed, and she was constantly thinking about it. And I've had phases like that with this book, but I've gone so far from that, and it's become just this thing that I'm like trying to tackle the best way that I can. And I really need that excitement back. And now I feel like for the first time, I really have it, where I feel like I want to know what happens to these people. And I just feel excited to live in this world. And I don't know, I feel really good about it. And I hope people like it. I think the scary thing is realizing, instead of me trying to just make the best book ever, I am committing more to a certain type of young adult fantasy, heavy on the contemporary thing. And so that means that some people won't like it as much, but then some people hopefully will really like it. And that's okay. It's okay if not everyone likes it. My feelings will only be a little crushed. Right, I'm gonna keep at it and go to bed soon. Quick update. So I just wrote for like 15 minutes and I wrote almost 500 words. So yeah, writing something you're excited about makes a difference. Can I really do this? Can I do this? Could I finish on time and it be good?